evening, Francis.
Good evening, Mrs. Rogers.
Is that the boat?
Yes.
Oh dear, already? So much to do. Have you remembered everything?
I think so. Lemons, schnitzel, cream, eggs, tomatoes, and butter. Is that all?
Yes, that's right. So much to do today, and I don't know where to start. All these guests arriving today, and the maid's not coming till tomorrow.
Oh, calm down, Ethel. Everything's shipshape now. Looks nice, don't it, Francis?
Looks neat enough for me. It's kind of bare, but rich folks like places bare, it seems.
Rich folk is queer.
Anyways, a queer sort of gentleman has built this place. Spent a wicked lot of money on it, he did. And then gets tired of it and puts the whole thing up for sale.
BTA owns and want to buy this place. Living on an island?
Oh, come off it, Ethel, and take all that stuff out into the kitchen. They'll be here any minute now.
Making a steep climb in this future drink, I suppose. Like some others I know.
That'd be young Jim. I'll best be getting along. There's 2 gentlemen arriving by car, I understand.
I shall want at least 5 loaves of bread and 8 pints of milk in the morning. Remember.
Right.
Oh, don't forget the oil for the engine, Francis. I have to charge out tomorrow. I'll have the lights running down.
Some telephone railway. It'll be over first thing tomorrow.
And give it him with the luggage, will you?
Right.
Forgot to give you this gift, Tom.
Thanks, little girl. Doesn't look a very classy lot to me. Miss Claythorne should probably do the secretary.
I don't hold much with secretaries. Worse than hospital nurses. With them giving themselves airs and graces and looking down on servants.
Oh, stop grousing, Ethel, and cut along to that lovely, up-to-date, expensive kitchen of yours.
Too many newfangled gadgets for my fancy.
So this is it.
How perfectly lovely.
Miss Claythorne.
Oh, Rogers, isn't it?
Yes. Good evening, miss.
Good evening, Rogers. Would you mind taking my luggage and Captain Lombard's up?
Very good, miss.
You've been here before.
Oh, no. But I've heard a lot about the place.
Oh, from Mr. and Mrs. Owen.
No, old Johnny Brewer, a pal of mine, built this house. Oh, it's a sad and poignant story.
A love story.
Yes, ma'am. The saddest of them all. He was a wealthy old boy, and he fell in love with the famous Lily Logan. Married her, bought this island, and built this place for her.
Sounds most romantic.
Ah, poor Johnny. He thought by cutting her off from the rest of the world, not even a telephone as means of communication, he could hold her.
Ah, but of course the fair Lily tired of her ivory tower and escaped.
Uh-huh. Johnny went back to Wall Street, made a few more millions, and the place was sold.
And here we are. Well, I better see where Mrs. Owen is. Others will be down in a minute.
It would be very rude to leave me here all by myself.
Would it? Well, I wonder where she is.
Oh, she'll be along when she's ready. While we're waiting, do you think I can make myself a drink? I'm very dry.
Of course you could.
Certainly warm after that steep climb. What's yours?
Oh, not for me. Not on duty.
A good secretary is never off duty.
Oh, really? This is exciting.
What?
All of this. The fresh air, the gulls, the beach, and this lovely house. I am going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think we both are. Here's to you. You're very lovely.
Where is Mrs. Owen?
Mr. and Mrs. Owen will be down from London until tomorrow, miss. I thought you knew.
Tomorrow, but
I have a list of the guests expected here, if you would like to have it, miss. The second boatload's just arriving now, I imagine.
Yes, thank you. How awful. I say, you will be sweet and help me, won't you?
I won't move from your side.
Thank you. It seems strange to have brought only us on the first boat and all the rest on the second.
That, I'm afraid, was design, not accident.
What do you mean?
Well, I suggested to the boatman that there was no need to wait for any more passengers. That and 5 shillings soon started up the engine.
You shouldn't have done that.
Well, they're not a very exciting lot, are they?
I thought the young man was rather nice looking.
Oh, callow. Definitely callow. And very, very young.
Oh, and I'm sure you think a man in his 30s is more attractive?
I don't think, my darling. I know.
Wizard place you got here?
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Oh, too bad.
May I introduce Captain Lombard? Mr.
Marston, Anthony Marston.
Have a drink?
Sure, why not?
What'll you have? Gin, whiskey, sherry?
Whiskey's fine, I think. Wonderful place you got here!
Oh, I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
How are you?
My name's Lombard. Have a drink, Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name.
Mr. Davis? Mr. Marston.
How are you, Mr. Marston? Pleased to meet you. Thanks, Mr. Lombard. Don't mind if I do. Bit of a stiff climb up here. But whoa! What a view and what a height. Reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Does it? What part?
Oh! Natal, Durban, you know.
Huh. Really?
Well, here's the temp rate. Do you, know South Africa?
Oh, me? No.
That's where I come from. That's my Natal state.
Interesting country, I should think.
Finest country in the world, sir. Gold, silver, diamonds, oranges. Talk about a land flowing with beer and Skittles. Oh.
How do you do?
Oh, General Mackenzie, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston? Oh, and Mr.
Davis! Davis is the name!
Whiskey and soda, sir?
Thanks. You in the service?
Formerly in the King's African Rifles. Too tame for me in peacetime. I chucked it.
Pity. When?
Where is Mrs. Owen? Oh, I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. Indeed. Extraordinary. Did she miss the train? I expect so. Oh, won't you have something? May I introduce Mr. Marston, Captain Lombard, General Mackenzie? I think you all met on the boat. Oh, and Mr.
Davis! Davis is the name! May I take your case?
Do let me get you something to drink. A glass of sherry, a dry
I
martini.
never touched alcohol.
You never touched alcohol.
You do know, young man, you left us standing there on the wharf. Oh, I'm afraid, Miss. It seems to me most extraordinary that Mrs. Owen is not here to receive her guests. I expect she's just the kind of person who can't help missing trains.
That's what I reckon she is.
Not at all. Mrs. Owen isn't the least like that.
Perhaps it was her husband's fault.
She hasn't got a husband. I should like to go to my room. Of course.
You'll find Mrs. Rogers upstairs, miss. She will show you the room.
I'm afraid our host and hostess haven't arrived yet, sir. My name's Lombard.
Well, great. How do you do?
How do you do? Have a drink, sir?
Yes, please. Whiskey.
How are you? Davis! Davis is the name. I say, wonderful place you got here. Quite unique.
Oh, as you say. Quite unique.
Your drink, sir. Say, has old Badger Berkeley rolled up yet?
Who did you say?
Badger Berkeley. He wrote me in for this show. When's he come?
I don't think he's coming. Nobody by the name of Berkeley.
The dirty old double-crosser. It's let me down. Well, it's a pretty wizard island. Rather a wizard girl, that secretary. Sure, liven things up a bit. I say, old man, what about dressing for dinner this time?
Let's go and explore.
A wizard?
I say, things are a bit at 6s and 7s when the Owens is not showing up.
Tricky, what? I say, wizard place for a holiday, what?
Oh, aren't you going to sit down?
Well, truth be told, seems to be you're in my seat.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you were one of the family.
Oh no, not that exactly. Just tell you the truth, I've never been here before, but I live at the Benton Club after the last 10 years, and my seat is just about there. Can't get used to sitting anywhere else.
Well, it becomes a bit of a habit.
Certainly does. Thank you.
Can you go tell them they need to be a lot quieter when they're walking backstage?
It's not as good a chair as the club's, but it's still a nice chair. To tell you the truth, I was quite surprised when I got the invitation. I haven't had anything of the sort for 4 years now. Very nice of them, I thought.
Can I have your keys, sir?
Is Lady Constance Tomington expected here, can you tell me?
Lady Constance Tomington. I don't think so, sir, unless she's coming out with us for Mrs. Owen. Thank you. Allow me, sir. Can I take your keys, sir?
No, thank you. I will unpack for myself.
Dinner is at 8 o'clock, sir. Shall I show you to your room?
Please.
Here you are, sir. I'll call Rogers.
How are you? Davis is the name.
Mine's Armstrong.
Dr. Armstrong, I believe.
Yes.
Thought so. Never forget a face.
Don't tell me I've forgotten one of my patients.
Oh, no, nothing like that. But I saw you once in court giving expert evidence.
Oh, really? Are you interested in the law?
Oh, well, you see, I'm from South Africa, so naturally legal processes in this country are bound to interest a colonial.
Yes, of course.
Have a drink.
No, thank you. I never touch it.
Mind if I do? Mine's empty.
Not a bit.
I was having a look around the island. Pretty wonderful place, isn't it?
Yes, wonderful. Thought as I was driving across the mainland what a haven for peace this was.
Yeah. Too peaceful for some, I dare to say.
Yes, wonderfully restful. Great for the nerves. You see, I'm a nerve specialist, you know.
I know that. Did you come down by train?
No, I motored down. I dropped in on a patient on the way. A great improvement. A wonderful response.
Best part of 200 miles, isn't it? How long it take you?
I didn't hurry. I never hurry. Unlike some mannerless young fellow who nearly drove me into the ditch near Amesbury. Shot past me at about 80 miles an hour. A disgraceful bit of driving. Sure would have liked to have had his number.
Yes, and if only more people would take down the numbers of these young roadhogs.
Yeah. You must excuse me. I need to speak with Mr. Owen.
Oh, but Mr. Owen isn't coming down. He... Yes! Take my hat, will you? What time's supper?
Dinner's at 8 o'clock, sir. In about a quarter of an hour. I think dressing tonight will be optional.
Got a good place here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Been here long?
Just under a week, sir.
Is that all? So, I guess you don't know much about the crowd that's here?
No, sir.
All old friends of the family?
I really couldn't say, sir.
Oh, well. Oh, Rogers!
Yes, sir.
You think you could put some sandwiches and a beer in my room at night? I get a hell of an appetite for this sea air.
I'll see what I can do, sir.
Rogers! I'll see you won't lose by it. Now, where's my room?
I'll show you, sir.
Good! I can do with a wash and brush up straight away. Good.
Oh, there you are, Rogers. You really ought to clear these dirty glasses. Here I am with a 4-course dinner on my hands and no one to help me. You really ought to help with the dishing up. Who was it you were talking to, by the way?
Davis. South African gentleman. No class, if you ask me. No money, either.
Don't like him. Don't like any of them much. More like that bunch we had in the boarding house, I'd say.
Well, Davis gives out like he's a millionaire or something. You should see his underwear. As cheap as they make them.
Well, as I said, it's not treating us right. All these guests arriving today and the maid's not coming till tomorrow. What do they think we are?
Now then, anyway, the money's good.
So it ought to be. Catch me going into service again unless the money was good.
Well, it is good, so what are you going on about?
I can tell you this, Rogers. I'm not staying any place where I'm put upon. Cooking's my business. I'm a good cook.
First rate, old girl.
But the kitchen's my place and housework's none of my business. I've got a good mind to put my hat and coat back on and go straight back to Plymouth.
Well, you can't do that, old girl.
Why not? Who says I can't, I should like to know?
Because you're on an island, old girl. Have you forgotten that?
Yes. And I'm not sure that I fancy being on an island.
I don't know that I fancy it much either. No, slipping down to a pub or going to see the pictures. Oh well. It's double wages on account of the difficulties. There'll be a beer in the house.
That's all you ever think about. Beer.
Now, stop your nagging. You best get back to the kitchen or else your dinner will be spoiled.
Be spoiled anyway, I expect. Everybody's going to be late. Wasted on them anyway. Thank goodness I didn't make a souffle. Dinner won't be a minute, miss. Just a question of dishing up.
Is everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage between the two of you?
Oh, we'll be fine, thanks, miss. The missus talks a lot, but she gets it done.
What a lovely evening. Yes, indeed. The weather seems very settled. How plainly one can hear the sea. A pleasant sound. Hardly a breath of wind, and deliciously warm. Not like England at all.
I should have thought you'd feel a little uncomfortable in that dress.
Oh, no.
It's rather tight, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think so.
You'll excuse me, my dear, but you're a young girl and you've got your living to earn.
Yes.
A well-bred woman does not like her secretary to appear flashy. It looks as though she were trying to attract the attention of the opposite sex.
And would you say I do attract men?
That's besides the point. A girl who deliberately sets out to get the attention of men won't be likely to keep her job long.
Surely that depends on who she's working for.
Really, Miss Claythorne?
Aren't you being a little unkind?
Young people nowadays behave in the most disgusting fashion.
Disgusting?
Yes! Low-back evening dresses, lying half naked on beaches, all this so-called sunbathing an excuse for immodest conduct, nothing more. Familiarity, Christian names, drinking cocktails. And look at all the young men nowadays, decadent. Look at that young Marston, what good is he? And that Captain Lombard.
What do you object to in Captain Lombard? I say he's a man who's led a very varied and interesting life.
The man's an adventurer. All this younger generation is no good at all.
I see, you don't like youth.
What do you mean?
I was just remarking that you don't like young people.
And is there any reason why I should? Pray.
Oh, no. It just seems to me that you must miss an awful lot.
You're very impertinent.
I'm sorry.
That's just what I think. The world will never improve until we stamp out immodesty. Great pathologist. What did you say?
Nothing.
Oh, what about that old boy?
He looks rather like a tortoise, I think.
All judges look like tortoises. They have that venomous way of darting their heads in and out. Mr. Justice Wargrave is no exception. Why, I bet you he's been responsible for more deaths than any innocent people in all of England. Oh, hello, you. Have you two met each other? Dr. Armstrong, Miss Claythorne? The doctor and I have just decided that the old boy...
Yes, I heard you went to see, Oh, Sir Lawrence,
Ah, Miss Fred.
there's something I would like to ask you. Would you come out here?
Ah, a remarkably fine night.
Absolutely wizard car. A supercharged sports car, Lady Carlotta. You don't see too many of them on the road now, do you? I could get over 100 out of her. Oh, did you come from London? Yes. 208 miles, and I did it in a bit over 4 hours.
Oh.
Too many cars on the road, though, to keep it up. Hit 90 going over Salisbury Plain. Not too bad, eh?
I think you passed me on the road.
Oh, sorry.
You nearly drove me into the ditch.
Oh, well.
If I'd seen your number, I'd have reported you.
But you were footling along in the middle of the road.
Footling? Me? Footling?
Well, now, how about a drink? Good idea. Would you like one, Miss Claythorne?
No, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Good evening, Mrs. Owen.
Oh, why, Mrs. Owen?
Because you'd make the most attractive wife for any wealthy businessman.
Oh, do you always flirt so outrageously?
Always.
Well, now we know.
Tell me, what did old Miss Brent want with the judge upstairs? She tried to buttonhole him earlier.
I don't know. Funny. She seemed so certain earlier that there wasn't a Mr. Owen.
You don't think that Mrs. Owen... I mean, that they aren't... that there isn't...
What? That they're not married, you mean?
Damn shame we don't know each other. I could give you a look down.
Yes, that would have been grand.
I'd like to show you what I could do across Salisbury Plain. Tell you what, I'll give you a ride back.
Oh, but
It seems damn silly. I've got an empty car.
Yes, but she likes the way she's going back.
Oh,